So, Gabby,
Yep.
Vince and I have been anxious to talk to you about what's going on in housing and mortgage lending. This is obviously a huge part of the economy and affects an even bigger portion of the economy because once you buy a house, you need, a new TV, furniture, maybe even a dog. So is housing back since the Great Recession? How hard is it to get a mortgage? I saw that Rocket Mortgage thing during the Super Bowl.
I think everyone did.
Yeah. They really struck a populist tone with that. They're like, we can make America better.
I was talking to someone else in the office the other day, and they were like, I thought that it was a commercial for The Big Short. Like, that's what I thought it was for.
It was a little bit concerning how nonchalant they made the idea of, I'm going to just click this button on my smartphone
Oh my God.
and get a mortgage. It was a little bit concerning how they make it seem like this trivial matter when it's not at all.
A $400,000 purchase should not be trivial.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Gabby, can I still buy a mortgage-backed security if I want? Because I really want to.
You just want like one
I'm
mortgage-backed security. Like,
I just want the whole
I don't
thing.
even know how you would go about doing that. But yeah, MREITs are always an option.
Yeah.
MREITs are mortgage REITs,
Yeah.
real estate investment trust. I don't know if you guys ever talk about this, so I figure I'm just going to spell out
Go nuts.
what all the acronyms are.
No, I think that makes sense. We
have
do
a
not
lot.
delve into that realm very often.
But no, so the housing market in general right now, it hasn't reached pre-recession levels. I think back then, home ownership rate was around 69%, like in 2005.
It's in the low 60s now, isn't it?
It's in the low 60s.
Yeah.
And I think it like the lowest it ever got was like in the 50s, but it has gone down from last quarter. The one thing that we are seeing a lot more of though is renting.
Mm-hmm.
So if you
Said the three millennials sitting at a table doing a podcast.
It's true, especially amongst millennials. That's the group that you're seeing the most doing the most renting because I mean down payments are expensive on houses.
And, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, the rule of thumb with homeownership is you shouldn't buy a home unless you're planning on staying in an area for 5 to 6 years. I don't know about you, but since leaving college, I moved 5, 6 times.
Yeah, it's a minimum of 5 years. What a lot of people don't think about when buying a home is all the closing costs involved. So in order for that to average out, you need
that's
to
like
stay.
5-10 grand. Yeah, minimum.
Yeah, you need to stay for 5 years in order to recoup your losses when you sell your house again, assuming that your house goes up in value.
Which is a dubious assumption.
So you guys mentioned millennials, obviously younger people. I can understand starting their careers, building out, their net worth and their savings in order to handle some of these down payments is difficult. 20% even on a $200,000 home. I think that the median or the average for the U.S. is like $150,000. It's still a pretty decent chunk of change. But you sent me an interesting story that I read for the Bay Area, Gabby, about some of these I don't remember what they called it. It was very
It's like zero down home loans. Or
Oh,
That's
something
right.
like
exactly.
Well, then it was variable interest rate too. What were you saying? Like, I was like, why are we doing this again? It's been 7 years.
Yeah, so this is the San Francisco Credit Union. A lot of the homes in San Francisco are very expensive.
I think it was like average $1 million.
An average
in
of,
that
and
area.
so to get a down payment for the 20% down payment, that's $200,000. And even for people who are working in the tech industry there, that's very, very expensive.
Sure.
So there's this credit union saying, we'll let you get a home loan for 0% down. And they're saying, like, don't worry, like, our standards are super stringent. But you look at it and it's a variable rate, which is not great. So you really want a fixed interest rate if you're getting a mortgage. A 30-year fixed interest rate, that's probably the lowest it's going to get.
Well, it's even worse because the Federal Reserve just increased interest rates for the first time in a while.
Right.
And supposedly they're going to keep going. So
Yeah, I don't think they're going to like super duper accelerate
Right.
that though. And interest rates are like at a historical low. They're so low right now. It's still almost like negligible.
yeah.
But that doesn't mean like in like 30 years when you're still paying off this house, like maybe interest rates are a lot higher and suddenly you're paying a lot more in interest a lot later. Also, like Vince was saying, it does seem generally on its face like a bad idea. Like if you can't even come up with a little bit for the down payment, what are you doing buying a house?
It's bad.
And I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure that those must come with PMI, which is a private mortgage insurance.
Yeah.
Which is basically what you have to pay on a mortgage, on top of a mortgage,
Unless you put, 20% down?
unless you
isn't
put
it?
20% down. That's exactly right.
Who's, because I remember a couple of primary mortgage insurers. This is back in my first looking at the stock market days, but a couple of primary mortgages, in fact, all of them, like, went under. There was actually PMI Group, I think, that was 2000. I'm pretty sure they're gone. I mean, what's going on in that industry right now?
Honestly, I have no idea. We, like the people in my bureau, the financials bureau, sat down yesterday and tried to find a PMI provider. And it is incredibly difficult to find one. It looks like the banks are the ones providing it.
And they're just charging the money and self-insuring or something.
Yes.
Yeah, PMI Group is on. It's bankrupt. Yeah, they're gone.
Which is, oh man, the 2008 recession, just a little road bump for them.
Well, and I know a new company got formed, and this is like me reaching in the cobweb of my mind, but I know that George Soros like helped create one, and they're going to have an IPO. And I just found Radian Group. They are finally starting to make a little bit of money, but they were almost bankrupt in 2011. Anyway, I think they just did a reverse stock split too. I would think that industry would be super profitable now, though, because everybody's like, oh, wow, the whole industry just crashed. We can actually charge money for the insurance now or something. But,
yeah, and I mean, property values are going up in certain areas of the country. And the thing with PMI is if you can avoid PMI, that is really ideal because one, you're paying extra money. Two, they're super hard to cancel. Like you go online and you look for how to cancel PMI.
Game over.
And it's like people are just like complaining. There's like, I have no way of canceling this. I've tried for like a couple years now. So it's, if you can avoid it, I would highly recommend it.
Putting the money down. So for all of our consumer goods investing listeners who obviously, might own shares in a Home Depot or a Lowe's or something, bottom line is, so it sounds like housing's not gangbusters, but it's not bad either.
Yeah, no, it's chugging along. I mean, technically it went down last quarter, but like...
It's a quarter. It doesn't matter.
Exactly.